guys, and welcome back to another video. I'm Shah and this is Thoroughly Enjoyed Books. I'm coming at you at a bit of a different angle today because I'm showing you a bookshelf that you don't normally get to see. Back when I made my organisation bookshelf videos, when I first moved into this flat, I mentioned this little bookshelf that you can just about see behind me and asked whether you'd be interested in a tour of this because this was going to be my academia bookshelf and my notebooks. Basically, it's turned into my university and miscellaneous shelf. This is actually the shelf that I use to store all of my notebooks and journals, all of my different activity notebooks, like travel journals, health planners, writing prompts, all those sorts of things are all kept on here, as well as my academia shelf being on there as well. So I thought a good idea today to get rolling on the bookshelf tours that I do want to start doing for you. I'm going to do all of them. There aren't many in this little flat, but eventually I will have many more bookshelves, I assure you, because I've got hundreds of more books back at my dad's house. This is a nice little easy way into that because it's a small shelf, but also it's a shelf that you haven't seen often, so you don't actually know what's on here, and I thought that would be a bit more exciting for you. Just a very brief overview while I'm sat here, and then I'll show you the shelves. This top shelf here is all of my notebooks. Then we have got all of my notebooks that are for a specific purpose, so the writings, the lists, the travel journals, etc. And then the bottom shelf is all for academia. Let's go into it. I ain't going to show you every single little thing. I'm just going to do a very brief overview for you, and I hope that you enjoy it. Before we actually start this video, I'll just mention what is on the top here. Here we have got my internet router, and here we have got a letter holder that I just use when post comes and I haven't sorted it yet. Stick it in there, and I also keep like vouchers and things in the little drawer. But that's not interesting at all. What you're really interested in is this shelf. Now, apologies for the weird angles. The tripod does not go at the right height for this, but basically this is just my notebook shelf. And they're all my short notebooks. I do have taller notebooks which are kept on my bookshelf because it's a bit taller, but these are all my most used and smallest notebooks. My most exciting one is this Hercules one that I got from the Disney shop that is made to look like a videotape. It's all wrapped in plastic like a videotape would be, and then when you open it up, it's got a picture of the videotape. Hercules is one of my favourite Disney films, so I had to buy this even though it was quite an expensive notebook. I then have a couple of small notebooks here, so we have an address book, a zodiac book, and a kindness diary. And then here we just have a number of notebooks. So this is a really pretty one. This one that I love, even though we don't love, you know, the creator of it anymore. I'm just showing you all the pretty notebooks now. They're just lovely. This is my poetry notebook. And this is my feminist notebook. Oh, this one's upside down. Queen of I'll just have one. We all know I can't just have one. That is the first shelf. Those are all my notebooks, all the ones I currently have different projects in. I know there's a lot and there's a lot on the go, but they all have a different purpose. So I mentioned one was my poetry book, that's this one here. And then some of them are video ideas, some of them are thoughts and feelings, some of them are short stories, but that's all what they're for. On this second shelf, we have a mismatch of things. So over here, we have got a pile of books, and then over here, we've got a bunch of notebooks, and then there's some mismatched things in the middle. So if we just look over to this side where the books are, I've done a whole video of these books. These are books that belong to my book club. We won a quiz a few months ago, back in October I think it actually was, so nearly a year ago now, where we won £100 to spend on books, and these are the books that we chose. So we've got Homo Deus by Yuval Noah Harari, which is a brief history of tomorrow. So it's a book about the future. It's quite scientific. It is by the same author as Sapiens, which is about the human nature. Underneath that, we've got Persepolis by Marjane Satrapi, The Shape of Water by Del Toro, My Sister the Serial Killer by Oyinkan Braithwaite, Louis Theroux's Gotta Get Through This. As you know, I read one of his other books recently and really didn't enjoy it. And then we have Becoming by Michelle Obama, which is a book I'm really looking forward to reading actually. I need to get around to that as soon as possible. In the middle there, you notice right here, we've got these notebooks, these colourful little notebooks, I just use those for various different things, keeping little notes, things I have to do, information that I need to remember, addresses and things like that. Then in the middle we have baby names, which people always ask why I have, but my answer to that is I'm a writer. I bought a book of baby names when I was about 12, and I just go through that when I'm coming up with names for the stories that I write. Then we have a guide to Croatia. I was meant to go to Croatia last year on holiday, but it got cancelled unfortunately, so I'm not having very good luck with holidays. And then at the bottom there is a book called Spanish in 3 months that my friend Lily got me a couple of years ago for my birthday, which was really lovely of her, and no, I have never touched it unfortunately. Okay, and then over here, this is my favourite little section. So this is all types of different journals. So we have Become a Writer, which is a book that talks you through how to write a book. We have Wreck This Journal. We have a crossword puzzle book, which probably doesn't belong on that shelf, but I did just stick it there. I then have these 2 notebooks that are only here because they didn't fit on the other shelf, but these are beautiful. Oh, they're upside down. Beautiful cloth-bound embroidered notebooks from Paper Chase. And that's the other one. They're just very, very pretty books. Then here I have my travel journal. We have a couple of books here that are on eating and documenting your eating. So this is Diet Doodle Diary. I need to get rid of this because this is awful. It's about measurements and weights I don't like. But this is the Health and Happiness Planner from Wilko's. This is much better. This is all about documenting what you're eating, but how that is making your body feel rather than how making your body look. And then here we have another 2 books that are just writing prompts. So this is 642 things to write about. No, I don't know why it is so mucky, but I use this when I'm struggling to come up with something to write. And here's my literary listography, my reading life in lists. So this just gives you different themes to write books about, and I actually think I'm going to start using this to come up with video ideas. Maybe. Let me know what you think about that. And finally we have the bottom shelf. This is my academia bookshelf with a few different types of things on it. These are all pretty much non-fiction or study resources. So if we start over at this side, which is all of my literature books. Here we've got Literary Theory and Anthology. This is a book that many literature students probably have. It's a very big and chunky book that just goes over basically all of the theories. Then I have the Norton Anthology of American Literature, which is an anthology from my first year of my undergraduate degree. And then these 3 here are all related to my current master's degree. Here we have got Sarah Waters, edited by Kay Mitchell. This is a book that is a collection of essays particularly about Sarah Waters. So as I've mentioned before, Sarah Waters is going to be the object of my dissertation. And then I have this book, which is called Pleasure Bound, Victorian Sex Rebels and the New Eroticism. So this is particularly about Victorian literature, but I'm not doing Victorian literature, even though Sarah Waters does reimagine Victorian literature in a way. That's just a very good book at getting an understanding of that. Then we've got The Second Sex by Simone de Beauvoir. Again, a very famous, popular, chunky book of theory about sex and gender. And then we have Beginning Theory by Peter Barry, which is a book that I think every literature student ever has read. Then I have a couple of books that are just from my masters. So I did a module on modernism and I did a module on Joe Orton last year. So we've got the Penguin Book of American Verse, which is a bunch of poets. And then we've got 2 Joe Orton books here. So we've got the Orton Diaries and we've got Prick Up Your Ears by John Lark, which is a biography of Joe Orton. And then if we move across here a little bit, we have got a small section that is books on mental health and then a few journals that I have. So here is just my collection of books about managing bipolar disorder. So these are what my doctor gave me when I was diagnosed. I then have got Overcoming Depression and Overcoming Anxiety, which are just 2 mental health books, like they say, all about anxiety and depression and how to manage them. And then this is a collection of journals. This is the Probation Journal. I've talked before about working in criminal justice, and I'm part of a union where we get sent these every couple of months. So I'm building up my collection of probation journals. So that is everything for my academia shelf.